Hi, welcome to Self-Published Riga, which is one of the events of Riga Photomonth. And we are here at the ISSP gallery, where we have around 150 photo books from 6 different collections and also from the dummy competition that we did this year. So here, first you can see the shortlist. We will announce the winners next week. We received more than 100 dummies from all over the world. Of course, from neighboring countries. There's some from Latvia and Estonia, Lithuania, from Peru, Germany, Netherlands, Japan. So it was very exciting to go through with my colleagues of the jury and pick up the ones that we found to be the most successful. And then here we go on with Paris Photo Aperture Foundation Photo Book Awards. I mean, this doesn't really need any comments. This is one of the most prominent and well-known competitions of photo books happening every year, and these are the shortlisted books of 2020. And last year we also had 2 books from artists from Latvia as part of the shortlist. Here's Diana Tamane with Flower Smuggler. And then also there is Stikla Stranci, and Anna is here who made Stikla Stranci, and she will be telling in a moment a bit more about the exhibition, which is another way how to try to translate the same material but in an installation format. And then hopefully she will tell something about the photo book as well, because I think she's the best one to share the stories behind it. And
very flattering, yeah.
Then we continue. Well, we usually try to have books from the Baltic countries as well, from Latvia and also Estonia and Lithuania, to see what our neighbors are doing. Because of course, compared to like Western Europe, bookmaking in Latvia isn't that much developed, maybe still, or simply there's not that much happening. But it's really interesting to see that. Also, maybe there was a similar situation for a long time in Estonia and Lithuania, but things are moving forward, and there are really a lot of interesting examples also from our neighbors. So Latvian photo books around here from the last 2 years, since the last self-published Riga. Estonian photo books are created by Kulla Las. A lot of logomik publications, but also some newspapers made by the Art Academy students. Kristina Oleg, who has shown her work in Latvia as well. And then we go to Lithuania, created by Valdis Petraitis, or wallpaper. Also a range of different approaches, from historical photo books to newspapers, self-published books. This is by Visvalds Markevičius. Or Indra Urbanaite. And then we continue with Nordic Dummy Award, curated by Antonio Cataldo. And this is a selection from around 6 years of the dummy's history, and they're both books that were submitted for the competition, but also books that have been published afterwards. And I think this is a great chance to compare how maybe the dummy looked and how the published book looks, because I mean there are maybe some compromises you have to make in the end, as I bet Terje maybe did when he made his dummy from this wooden material, and then the published book looks a little bit different. And there are a few examples like that, so I think it would be really interesting to compare also what happens when people go from dummy to published book. Also, here the same, this is the dummy, and this is the published book afterwards. And also here, dummy and published book by Maija Annikki-Savolainen, who also had the exhibition here a few years ago. And
then, do they differ by the content?
A little bit, but I mean the project is the same, but maybe some changes might.
The presentation is different.
Yeah, presentation is a bit different, and some changes are made in the selection. And then, last but not least, Africa in a photo book. And there is online platform which features around, I'm afraid to make a mistake, but I think around 700 books on the region. So it's both books made by African photographers are made in Africa, but also the vast majority is books made about Africa, starting from the beginning of the last century till the present day. And in this collection, Ben Kardenko, who is based in the Netherlands, and he's collecting all these books. He has a lot of like rare and really interesting editions, and here we have featured books from 1930s up to, I think the newest one is 2016. And this is interesting material, not only photography-wise or photo book-wise, but how the presentation of the continent has changed, and also from anthropological point of view. So, of course, these are books in our days we might have a lot of issues with some of them, racism and how Africa is pictured, but it's to see how it has changed through history. So that's the photo book exhibition, and I think Anna maybe can tell more about the installation that we have there on the wall.
I'd like to thank you, Evita. Yeah, I'm going there. So I wouldn't call it like an installation, a big installation, because it's a kind of a parenthesis to the book. It's let's say it's a parenthesis focused on the content of the images, because whether we speak about images or books, we are using descriptions, and it's interesting really that archives are using hashtags. And here, making this Stikla Strange book, we were discussing contents, because while discussing the choice of the images, we were like discussing the content, and our neurons, I would say, would be excited by seeing different things. We were four different people with different backgrounds, and we responded to different images. But how to keep one story, holding story in one, we realized that content description is something that should be like considered through the personalities. We had different personalities and we saw different things. Kirill Kobrin, the historian, saw one thing. Vladimir Svetlov, who is photographer, saw another, and the designer the third. Then we addressed the catalog, Latvian catalog, with descriptions, and we realized that things that were like triggering us were absolutely different. And here we were very intrigued by women with cut hats. It's the first thing you see, line of women that do not have hats. But in the description in the National Gallery, you have this mention, everything is okay. A group of men standing next to each other and a group of women standing next to each other. And, well, do you see hats off, or women do not have hats to be recognized? I don't know. And then there was a folder. Studio portraits with rural landscape and birches. And there you have a lot of people standing in the rural landscape with birches, and they were like described a woman in a skirt or a man in a suit. I suppose you are like to be noticed only if you have something strange.
Yes, so this is our Instagram wall, so people are welcome to take images and put the
hashtag a person with a rural landscape, but take something unusual with you, because you will not be remembered in the history if you have no I don't know, in your heads, like dead chicken or something. If you have, you'll be noticed. While making the second print, we realized that the content that people remark is not considering actually personalities of people, and so it's a coming out. In the second edition, we put our heads in the composition. In one picture is Vladimir Svetlov, here's me, here's Alexei Murashko, the designer, and the historian Kirill Kobrin. So now, when the second print is sold, I can do
reveal the joke.
Yeah. So, but it's strange. Can you imagine? People buy this sawmill. What does it mean for you? It's the content of the image. But can you imagine? I would suggest that everyone imagine different image, but it's a description of content of this picture that was so intriguing that Kirill Kobrin compared it with I don't know, that was Fellini's Amarcord. And I like this description, absolutely fantastic. A gymnast bent down in such position that his head is not visible. Just imagine from the words. And I would say the description is also rather sexist. Here, a young military man in a Latvian army uniform is sitting on a chair, but I see a couple sitting in a studio. But it's a young military man holding in his lap a young woman. So strange. What do we see on the images? I would suggest you to come and to touch pictures and to take photos.
And to look at books.
Look at books, yeah, because it's different. It's different to deal with text. It's different to deal with pictures that are on a screen. But the main point is to have books as objects. I think it's you have to put your name on a drive or something. What was it? To register.
Yeah, okay. We can tell about some practical details.
Yeah.
So we are open from Tuesday to Saturday, from 12 to 6. On Wednesdays, it's the long days up to 8. And then on either on our website or on Instagram or on Facebook event, you can find information where you can write down your name, because we can have 3 people at the time at the gallery. So if you're afraid that maybe you will have to wait in a line, so that's a chance to put your name down before you come. But otherwise, everyone is welcome to come and take a look around. We have quite a lot of books here, so that I think usually there's not much possibility to see them in Latvia. So, welcome. We'll be waiting for you here.